good and the bad and the ugly.
The good, the bad, and the ugly of starting a business after the military, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. If you want to have unlimited income potential and you're still in the military or you're in the process of transitioning or you're already out of the military, then the best thing you can do for yourself is to either buy an existing business or start a business on your own. However, we had a member in our 70,000 member Facebook group ask me a question about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think I can answer this, at least from my perspective, because I've started a 7-figure education company, multiple 6-figure companies in support of that, and also done a lot of real estate investing where we raise millions of dollars. And I own millions of dollars of real estate personally with my family. So I've seen a lot of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think I can touch on that right now. So let's get into it. All right, so let's just go over the good. I'm going to be quick about these. So the first, and I only mentioned 3, all right? So the first one is that you're the master of your own ship, right? It's just awesome to be able to decide what you want to build, what you want to do, how you want to change things. You're the master of your own ship. It's pretty cool, but it comes with its own kind of nuances, which I'll get into later. The second thing is you decide where, how, and when you want to work. Right? Like not only do you have the freedom of deciding what you're going to be doing in your business, but you decide where, how, and when you're going to be doing it. Pretty cool. Third thing is your income potential, as I mentioned in the beginning, is virtually uncapped. It's really only limited by your potential, your creativity, and ultimately, if you're leveraging others, the potential creativity and abilities of your team, which largely will be a factor of how you empower them and how you lead them. But anyway, that's for another video. Now, let's get into the bad. And it's weird for me to say the bad because I'm pretty positive about business building. I love business building, even when there's the bad and the ugly happening. So I'm going to call it like bad-ish, but I do think these are important things to highlight. So the first thing is it's up to you to make sure that your business is working. It's up to, like, the ownership falls on you when mistakes happen, when leaks are happening in your ship, so to speak. And there's nobody you can look up to kind of take on that responsibility of having to answer to that thing happening. You either have to figure out how to fix it, you have to apologize to somebody or some entity, or you always have to make things right if you want to maintain your reputation. It's a big deal. And reputation, when things don't go well, is the first thing that's going to get damaged. And that's the thing that you have to maintain just with the utmost care. But the important thing and the lessons you can learn from this is that failure is okay. Failure, in fact, is absolutely necessary, and there's no way that you're not going to be encountering failure. In fact, if you want to think, the best mindset to have about this, is that the way you're going to learn is through multiple failures. The end. Like, I actually am getting to the point where I'm like, when failure happens, I'm like, yes, now we know that that's the wrong course. Let's change direction. It's just, and sometimes when it feels like things are kind of going well, but you're not sure, that's where I get like antsy, because I'm like, wait a second, I'm still not sure if this is the outcome that we're looking for, if this is the solution. I'd rather know what isn't the solution and then know that I got to pivot a little bit and actually learn from that and make either data-driven or educated guesses, so to speak, on why that failed, so that course correction, those changes in the business can be better. So it's a little bit bad-ish, because it's a lot. Like, not everybody's ready for responsibility. Not everybody's ready for that level of like, wow, everything's resting on my shoulders, literally. But you can turn it into good. You can make lemonade out of lemons in this situation, because failure is important when you're building a business. The second thing is, I was talking about the freedom to run your business wherever you wanted to, however you wanted to. Well, that level of freedom actually can become kind of like a drug and toxic, and you might fall prey to that, and where you actually will lose your own discipline. And I've seen this ruin some entrepreneurs that have transitioned out of the military, and they let their discipline just kind of fail. If nobody else was disciplining them and them sticking to rules that were set up for them, they weren't able to set discipline for themselves. Good habits just didn't exist, and the bad habits kind of started running their lives. And so essentially the freedom went away because the bad habits took over, and they weren't actually able to run their businesses the way they wanted to or achieve the goals that they wanted to, and things just started falling to the wayside. So if you are thinking about running a business full time, just understand that. So that's why, again, this isn't a bad thing, but it is something that you need to prepare yourself for. And this is just, I don't know, in the category of bad, I felt like this was more of a bad thing than an ugly thing. So you just need to prepare yourself to be disciplined and to set your own boundaries for how you're going to operate to make sure you succeed. And again, the ownership is on you. You got to keep yourself accountable. So let's get into ugly. I got 2 for this one as well. The first one is that haters are going to try to bring you down. Now, some people, here's the distinction I've learned to make, is some people are not necessarily haters. They actually have the potential of being a super fan. But you got to understand that people, when they try to bring you down, or it seems that way, you got to be able to protect your mission, your business, your team, and your family, and yourself, of course. Don't let that ruin your day, because some people will just never understand. Some people are either threatened by your success, they're jealous of your success, or they think that you must have an ulterior motive to be doing good for others, like you must be getting paid in an unjust way, and how dare you, that kind of a thing. We encounter this a lot in the veteran and military space, and it makes sense because a lot of veterans have been taken advantage of in the past. And so anyway, point is you got to understand that don't let that bring you down. And also, like I mentioned earlier, sometimes people are just skeptical, and you have the opportunity, if it's a skeptic, to actually show them behind the curtains, or explain everything, be transparent about how your business runs, why you do things the way you do, and show them you're trying your best. And what might happen is they might become a super fan. So don't lose the opportunity to create a super fan, because super fans are actually what will make your business go exponential. As you build up your list of super fans that are in your community or in your business that spread a word about your business as like word of mouth, that's what gets you to the next level. So never miss an opportunity to create a skeptic into a super fan, but protect yourself and your mind and your mindset and your goals and your family from true haters. Okay. The second thing is partnerships might fail. And this was a tough pill for me to swallow because I am a people person. I like people. I don't understand why somebody wouldn't want what's best for me if I do for them. And so it's important when you're building a business to understand that other people aren't you. They will not always have your best intentions in mind, even if you guys are best friends. And it's good and important from a professional standards perspective to at least get something on paper, and to also engineer that to favor the business and the mission, and quite honestly yourself, if you're like the one who founded a thing. But really the company should be the thing that is by design the thing that will be protected when there's disagreements, because you need that, because you don't want to destabilize your progress of the business just because of a disagreement. And just accept that disagreements will happen, and that if there's a way that you can create a culture where disagreements turn into passionate debating, that with the legal agreement and that with the culture being focused on what's best for the business, will create an amazing effect where if you all are passionately debating about not what's best for you from a selfish perspective, but what's best for the business, then that's the difference between a great and a good company. I'm reading a book called Good to Great, and that they identify that, and it was like a light turned on in my head. I was like, wow, that's the type of culture you want. And so hopefully, if that's the culture you create, you won't have falling out with partners, because you'll quickly be able to identify who should be in your company or not, and you might be able to part ways sooner rather than later. But just accept that no matter how big of a people person you are, I never thought this was going to happen to me, that I was ever going to have to actually part ways with any kind of partners, whether in real estate or in other businesses that I've built. But it's happened, and just be prepared mentally for it. So those last two things, like haters and partnerships not going well, those are like the ugly pieces, because I feel like, yes, there's lessons to be learned there, but that's almost like uncomfortable versus just a difficult thing. But anyway, again, all of this is just my perspective. If you enjoyed this, if you're in the military and you're thinking about running a business or getting into real estate, check out activedutypassiveincome.com. This is day 24 of my 30-day vlog. Thank you for watching. Mark Yancich is out. Boop.